Good day, chaps and chapesses, and welcome to yet another riveting episode of AndyManCam's Garage. We're going to be fitting a fresh new set of handlebars, and then immediately afterwards, a set of Oxford heated grips. Now first up, we're going to be fitting these handlebars. If you're not interested in seeing the handlebars being fitted and you want to race straight forward to the Oxford heated grips video, click on the Oxford heated grips right now and you can race to the video of your desire. But anyway, let's crack on. I'm changing out these LSL Superbike bars for these LSL street bike bars. They are much taller, they're a little bit wider, and I'm just hoping it's going to give me a much more comfortable riding position on the bike. After the UK trip, I had some real Handgelenkschmerzen, or if you prefer, some wrist pain. Because of the position of these handlebars, my hands are turned in a little bit too much and they're all at the wrong angle because they don't really fit, to be honest. If you remember, these were the bars which I fitted onto the phaser to begin with and then kept them to put them onto this bike because this bike had bent handlebars. Thanks, previous owner. But anyway, as you can see here, they're really close to the fairing. It just shows to me that they don't quite fit as well as they ought to. Another reason for getting the wider bars is because at the moment I've got my bar end mirrors here. They're attached onto the actual bar ends, which is great because it puts them right out of the ends of the bars so I can see as much as possible from behind. But the problem is just a little touch and they move because the bar ends move in the bars. With the wider bars, these are now going to be attached onto the bars themselves and hopefully a lot more steady. But let's get them off. That's got it. Put that down there on my custom-made equipment holding mat. There's the other. Out the bar ends. Looks like a 5 to me. Bang on. Now these have got the little bolt in a rubber tube kind of fitting in them, so what you probably need to do is screw it out like this and give it a bash with your trusty mallet. Just to send the bolt that way, take the pressure off of the rubber expandy jobby, and then use all the strength at your disposal to try and heave it out without pulling your bike over. Well, annoyingly it looks like the nuts come off the end of that, so that might be staying in there for the time being, and the rubber's all completely jammed in, but luckily I've still got my old bar end, so maybe I'll just use them on the new bars. Round to the other side, see if we can have a bit more success here. And if the mallet doesn't cut it, very gently, a couple of love taps with a man hammer. It's bloody typical, isn't it? When I fitted these, I tried bloody all sorts to get it even just to stay in there. It kept on popping out. Bloody Milky Bar kid could have pulled it out before. Now I need Dwayne the Rock friggin' Johnson to come and help me out. Just be careful not to do a Tyson Fury here and punch myself in the face. Right, the other one's stuck in there, so I'm just going to accept that this one's going to be stuck in there too. Deal with it once the bar's off. Custom parts mat. Right, that's the bar ends off. Now, I have to loosen everything off, unclamp the things that I can and take them right off, but with these there's a bit of shuffling backwards and forwards because the cables are all so short, and I'm hoping that these cables and things are going to reach. Now first off I need to undo the lever clamps because they're hiding the screws which you'll use to loosen off the switch gear. Now I'm just going to undo these all the way, stick them in my handy magnetic tray here. That's loose. That's loose. There's a couple of screws on each. I love how they cheat and double up with stuff. Like this is obviously some kind of cable routing or wiring or something which they just haven't used on this bike, but they've used this box on a different bike. To be honest, I'm all for that. If it means the bike's cheaper for me, I can't see it. It's not like I've ever thought, bloody hell, look at that nubbin getting in the way of my whole biking life. So I'll let it ride. Don't undo these all the way because, I mean, this one isn't quite so bad because it's just wiring in there. But on this one, if you undo those screws all the way, your throttle cable mechanism and stuff in here will explode like a miniature hand grenade. Right, that's loose. So, as you can see, I can't pull that off. I can't pull that off, so I need to loosen off these and make the handlebars free. Little flathead just to get these knobs off. It's not magnetic, but it can go in there anyway. There's 2, 3. Oh, they're disgusting. Look at those. I've been meaning to get some stainless ones so I can just leave these little caps off because they look shit, don't they? And they're all scratched up from the amount of times I've taken them off and put them back on again. Hold that, please. So now we need to undo these 4 bolts on the top of the clamp there. So 6. And they are quite tight. Doesn't help that I went to the gym yesterday, so I'm in a horribly weakened state. Every time I undo anything with any grunt today, I'm going to be shaking like a shitting dog. Très bien, très beaucoup, tray parker. Parts mat. So now, I should hopefully be able to shuffle the bars far enough one way or t'other to get this nonsense off. Okay, here's my first mistake of the video. There's always one or two. I've forgotten to take that grip off there, so that would have been a lot easier when it was clamped. Right, I've reclamped it because I just tried to get this off, and it was like trying to pull your girlfriend out of an H&M summer sale. But with the bar clamped, you can give it a twist. If you've got any super glue or hairspray or badger shit or anything holding it together, you can just get a small screwdriver and run it around the inside like that. Hold that, please, and give it another try. Now, of course, if like me you're going to be fitting heated grips after this and you want to be really lazy, you could just cut it off. But I am obsessive with keeping everything for spare or just in case, so I'm going to persevere. So I'm sporting the As Seen in the famous Debbie Does Dallas classic, the double-handed pepper grinder. We should hopefully end up with a happy ending. Hats off to you, Debbie, you've got some strong fingers. And I'm spent. Custom parts mat. I've also just realised another bleeding mistake. I've done the same on this side. So, top tip number 1. Take your grips off before you take anything else off. Right, I've reclamped the bloody bars again and reattached the throttle grip, so now I can try and get this grip off. Try the screwdriver trick again. So if that fails, you can just turn it inside out on itself if you've got nice soft grips like me. So whatever you do, don't pull your bike over. That would be disastrous. Oh, here she comes. Parts mat. And now to redo the bit we did a minute ago. And parts mat. And we'll try again, shall we? Go to the left. The right to get him off, and there we go. There's the old ones against the new ones. They're about 15mm wider at each end, 20 to 25mm taller. Hopefully they're going to be a lot more comfortable. Let's get them on and find out. So in a complete reverse of getting it off, just start off by getting the switch gears on while we have maneuverability. And the other side, they are a lot taller. Now most bikes' standard handlebars, they actually come with a hole drilled in the bar, and there'll be a lug inside of your switchgear which will locate into that hole and stops your switchgear from spinning and twiddling around. Now obviously, because these are aftermarket bars and I don't really fancy drilling them, I've filed off those lugs in both of my switchgears. I did it when I changed them to the last bars, but that means there's a likelihood that this can spin around because it's just plastic on metal. It's not a great grippy kind of interface. Not sure how well you can see this. Last time I put a piece of sponge in there. I mean, that's still working, but just to make sure, another thing you can do, I've got a little piece of heat shrink here. I'm just going to stuff that in there as well. And once I've got it all located and tightened up, I can just trim off that little extra bit, or just leave it there, you know, whatever you like. And same on this side. Except on this side I've just got two little bits, just kind of using what's laying around. There we go, lovely. Let's get them roughly in the right place. And then get the main clamp clamped, because that's what you do with the main clamp, isn't it? You clamp it. Pick up my clamp, or not. Okay, pick up my clamp again, and make sure that's perfectly central. Don't worry about writing to tell me it's not. Don't forget that your point of view is in fact completely off center to begin with, but thanks for the thought. This is why I hate these complete clamp things. When you've got a clamp either side, you can hold one side and clamp the other, but with this one, I've got to hold the bar away from it and then stick the clamp on. What a faff, Kawasaki. I'm glad you've moved away from this design, because it's shit. Also means if I want to put bar risers or anything on it, which would have been a wonderful fix instead of having to replace the bars entirely, but if I want to do that, I've got to buy specific ones because you've got this stupid off-center clamp arrangement. And now as well, now I've moved that, I can't tell if that's in the middle or not. Thanks a lot, Kawasaki. Can you get an aftermarket complete clamp for these bikes? I would love to change this all just so I can have a standard system where I can actually see what's going on. Right, well, I've got those loosely clamped, so I can now try and get them into a position that feels sort of comfortable. That feels about right. And get everything else put on. So that's the bars all clamped down. I think when I finished here I might re-stick my AndyManCam sticker because it's a bit wonky. How have I not noticed that before? I've measured the space for the grip and the bar and mirrors on this side, so we're tighten on a control switch box. See our little bits of shrink fit there? That's pretty bloody solid, that is. And unlike the foam, which has compressed over time and become loose, the shrink fit is going to be a bit more resilient and stay doing its job for much longer. And now we can clamp our levers back on. The clutch lever first. It's obvious which clamp is which because this one just doesn't fit that. Now you'll notice I've left a gap here because I'm actually going to fit some hand guards at the same time just to try and keep some of the wind off of my hands. And the same again on this side. And again here there's a big clue as to which way around this needs to go. It says up and an arrow pointing amazingly up. Let's clamp that on loosely again so I can make sure I've got space here for my hand guards to fit. So here they are. They're just cheap, nasty plastic eBay jobs. They were like 15 euros or something, but they do a great job of just keeping the wind off your hands. I mean, they're not going to protect me from marauding kangaroos or anything, but there aren't too many of them in northern Germany, so I think I'll be all right. Clamp around the back, hand guard around the front, and then screw it together. Simples. Just like that. They're pretty solid. And they're going to keep the wind off my hands just lovely. Making sure that the brake lever isn't fouling on it or anything. Now I can tighten this lever on. Remember, tightening at the top first. That forms the clamp, and then the bottom one to actually tighten the clamp. Also make sure that your brake lever doesn't foul your throttle cable, because that would be terrible. Right, now handguard on the other side. Small clamp around the back, big clamps on the front, screw it together. It's not rocket science. You may notice in some of my oncoming videos that these things flap around like a naked trampolinist jubblies. Also, it's worth checking that your handguards don't foul all of your fairings and screens and stuff. Quite annoying to be out on the road and then realise you can't do a U-turn anymore. And then you can tighten this lever on. Tighten the top first, tighten the bottom to squeeze the clamp. Wow, that was spectacular. I've just ejected everything out of my magnetic tray. But no worries, because with the magic of video technology, I'll make them all miraculously reappear. Clever, eh? Right, they're done. That's done, that's done, that's done. But we're ready for the meaty part, the heated grips. Now, because this video is probably dragged on a little bit already, I'm just gonna skip the heated grip part. If you want to see the full video where I fit the Oxford heated grips, click on the heated grips now. If not, watch on, and as if by magic, the heated grips will suddenly be installed. So there we go, the heated grips are on and working. Now all that's left for this job is the wing mirrors. Let's get them on. Now these bar end mirrors, they came with a plastic collar which goes around the handlebars, and then you mount the mirror itself onto the end of the bars. But that just seems a bit silly to me. Plastic, hard plastic on a vibrating handlebar. So what I've got here is my old grip stuffed into my mirror, and I'm just going to trim that off. I can then use sections of this grip as shock absorbing anti-vibration-y stuff for camera mounts. Watch out for future videos of me trying that out to see how effective it is. But for now, slice that off there. Right, there we go, that's chopped. And then hopefully squeeze it on. And there we go, that is on like Donkey Kong. I could probably even leave that without even tightening it up. Give that a little nip. Hopefully that'll do a nice job of stopping the vibrations. There is a very good real chance that it might just go like that all the time, but we'll see. Throttle still moves, still returns. I think I've got a bit too much rubber there, so I'm gonna have to trim a little bit of that back. There it is, chopped off level with the end of the bar. Let's get the bar ends back on. Now, as the alcoholic pensioner said to his long-suffering wife, I've managed to drag my nuts out of the old bar, and then I remembered that this is actually a steel bar. It's an alley one I've taken it out of, so I've got the old rubber bits that came with the bar ends in the first place, so I can actually use these bar ends rather than the original ones. Score! Slip the bolt in, rubber jobby in there like that, not on the end. Amazingly complicated engineering, these things. Give that a little bit of a pre-tighten. Just need to make it so that the nut grips on the rubber, otherwise you just keep spinning inside there. Now the challenging bit is getting it in the bar. Might need a little bit of nature's lubrication. No, just kidding. Turns out I had the ones for the inch bars on there, so try again with the right sized one. Tighten it up. Let's not go too crazy, otherwise I'll just pull the nut through the rubber. That is on there. Tidy. Now for the t'other side. Take my old grip, shove it in there like that. I'm going to leave it in there so I've got a bit of a grip to push it on the bars with. Clever, eh? There it goes. Right, and we're on. Trim this one off just like the last one. That cut is about as straight as Ricky Martin. Never mind. Here's another bar end I prepared earlier. Wind it on, shove it in, tighten it up. Well then, I think that's it, ladies and gents. New handlebars fitted, heated grips, hand guards, and newly positioned bar end mirrors. Happy with that. It's a good day's work. See you out on the road. Oh no, not quite yet. Forgot me shit little plastic bungs. Right, now I'll see you out on the road. Trot!